Bonjour, mon cœur. It's your Archon of Wisdom. Happy Sunday. Today, we are going to go back to our inception conception. We are going to talk about some topics. My cat is not in pain, nor is he suffering. He is just loud. So please disregard that. That's a paid actorship. Okay? The very first thing we're going to talk about today, give you guys something fresh and new, okay? We're going to talk about the recent crackdown on IRL streaming. We are going to talk about how a few individuals in the streaming community are currently under serious legal trouble, let's say. Of course, you may know or you may not know. If you're here, then I assume you're chronically online like me. And I think it's safe to say that we all have heard about clavicular. And no, I'm not talking about him rotting from the inside out, guys. I'm talking about the lawsuit. Now, this morning, recently, I saw a case with a different IRL streamer, Chud, where he is actually looking at prison time for, attempted murder. Quite frankly, there's no really other way to put it. That is just some base background for you guys. Again, I know we're not a IRL streaming community. We're not really a streamer watcher community. But, excuse me, oh my god, the coffee. But regardless, just some back logic, some back knowledge. Chud basically goes around IRL streaming. Actually, ironically enough, when I did look at this case filing, I thought that it was a little bit closer to home than it actually is. It is quite close to me, but not so on top of me as I thought. But that's because everything past the Mason-Dixon line starts to sound the same, like town-wise and county-wise and all that kind of stuff. They're not very original. Anyway, but no, he plays this character where he goes around playing this cowboy character with a gun, a pew-pew, a pam-pam, which he loves to brandish on people, which I don't know how that was ever... I just don't know who watches this stuff, guys, truly, you know. Like, it's very hard for me to believe that it's just, like, 7-year-olds. But again, I don't know who watches this kind of content. Certainly not me, that's for sure. Certainly not anyone I know. Essentially what happened was he finally did that with the wrong person. From what I understand, the person then struck him in the face, of which Chud fired several times, injuring the other person in the abdomen and the shoulder, as well as injuring himself somehow. Not quite sure how he ended up shooting himself, but he, thought claiming self-defense would be enough to satisfy la police, but no. That's not how self-defense doctrine works. And if you were a logical, well-read individual who wasn't illiterate, you would know that that's not how stand your ground doctrine or self-defense doctrine works, okay? Take it from me, I just study the law for a living. Okay, guys? moving forward, we're gonna go to some boring tomato news. We're gonna talk again about James Charles, about Jimothy Chuck. Okay. I know, I hear you groaning. Archon, why? Why are we talking about him again? Didn't the metrics tell you that we don't want to hear about him? Yes, I understand, guys, but guess what? Blindness is violence. Silence is violence, y'all. Okay, I'm sorry. That's just my opinion, and you are here to listen to it, so feel free to click off if you don't want to hear about James Charles. Otherwise, like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Please, it helps us out. We are sad and need your validation. No, we're poor, please, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Anyway, enough about me. We're going to talk about Jimothy. Bum, bum, bum. So, lots of things have happened in this case of him speaking poorly, illy about the Spirit Airline worker. Quite frankly, some interesting things. Quite frankly. If you know, you know. Anyway. First interesting thing. GoFundMe has started a massive GoFundMe for the Spirit Airline worker relief, which is great. All the money donated directly to GoFundMe for that is going to go straight to workers in need who sign up for the fund and are verified through GoFundMe. Charity services, it's really great. I love that. I think that's the best thing that GoFundMe themselves could have done. Secondarily, interesting, the specific person who James Charles was talking about has been found and revealed. I'm really confused personally. If you guys go give her views, go look at it. If you just like Google search it on your, not Google search it, if you just search it in your TikTok bar, you will find it. But go give her the views. So she has monetization now on her TikToks, so she is receiving benefits from the views. So go and check that out. But I really find it interesting that James specifically called her a white, able-bodied woman. Because she's not. Okay. One click on her TikTok will tell you that. I'm not sure if... you know what? I'm just going to give my opinion of what I think happened. Because a lot of people were saying, like, oh, he stalked her, and that's how he found out. No, I don't think he did. I think he took one look at her name, and because her name is a quote-unquote regular white name, okay? He saw that and was like... basically assumed that she was white, pretty, and able-bodied. Okay, now make of that what you will, alright? I don't think names have a specific race or culture associated with them. I think names are just names. They can be culturally associated, but ethnically associated, okay? But this is a different conversation for a different time. Alright? He did donate to her fund after a bunch of social pressure. There is a couple different leaks of his possible donation, but it's interesting. It's very interesting, guys. I don't think this case is going away anytime soon. Again, I understand we don't want to hear about Jimothy Chuck anymore, But, but we do need to seriously be looking a little sideways at things that are happening in front of our eyes. We need to not be silent about things. And if you want to stop hearing about Jimothy Chuck, then you need to maybe voice that a little bit more. I'm not sure. I mean, I think everyone deserves an inherent... You know what? I'm not even going to say. We're not even going to talk about cancellation. I just want to say that I, too, wish to stop hearing about Jimothy Chuck. And I, too, wish he would simply disappear. But, regardless, we're going to move forward. Moving forward, we're going to talk a little bit about our dear, dear friend of the show, Adam McIntyre. Yes, one of my personal favorite commentary channels. We have talked about Adam here on the show before, but we're specifically going to talk today about Adam and his recent dealing that he has had with VidCon. Okay? Just to catch you guys up, some context here. Adam had made plans to go to VidCon, is a featured creator at VidCon, announced it, had talked to them, had booked flights and all that kind of stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong, but VidCon is in California, I assume, so... But anyway, so after booking flights and all that, then the next day, right after booking, confirming, and doing all that good stuff between management and Adam and VidCon, they decided to announce a new featured creator, Rachel Ballinger. So that is the basis of the controversy, guys. That and additional effects, additional context. VidCon did state that they are not, quote, picking sides of a feud. That is what they said directly to Adam on the phone in regards to the situation. You know, as the situation develops, there's a lot to be said about it. I could probably do a whole video just on the VidCon situation. So again, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me if you guys want to see a whole video breaking down the entire situation with VidCon in more depth. But essentially, it is creating an environment where Adam is no longer safe at the convention, because as a celebrity, as a featured creator on the same tier list as Rachel Ballinger, you are essentially placing a victim in the clutches of their abuser, or in the vicinity of their abuser. This is why when you get protective orders, it specifies that you cannot have anyone contact the other person on your behalf. Okay? Because abusers often do this kind of behavior where they use other more unassuming family members to kind of creep back into the abused victim's circle and disrupt their life. And honestly, at the end of the day, the sad part is that narcissistic abusers, more times than not, I see issues where the discard is so much less and the obsession is so much more, if you guys can understand that. Just by seeing real life cases is what I'm talking about. I do understand that narcissistic discard is a huge part of it, but however, a lot of times that's not how it goes. A lot of times narcissistic abusers continuously try to disrupt your life, try to have control over your life. And that's exactly what this is. And to state, I want to say plainly, that this would not fly if Adam McIntyre was a woman. It would be a huge, even bigger issue. And VidCon would never dare put a young woman in the same position that they are putting Adam McIntyre. And that is inherently wrong. And that is all I'm going to say about that. Again, comment below, guys, if you want to hear a whole video about the VidCon situation with Adam McIntyre. We can definitely go over that. If you guys want, I'll probably do that as like a midweek thing. But let me know. That is going to be all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little return to basics where we do like a little 1, 2, 3 topics, you know. I love you guys very much. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to animals and drink your water. I love you guys. Bye.